Yeah, how are you? How's it going? I'm here. I'm here. I know you are here as well, and I'm glad. I wanted to come through and have some conversations with you about the real cost of infertility and IVF during COVID-19. So, for those of you who know who I am, and for those of you who are not aware of who I am, my name is Odessa. I am a womb wellness mentor, and I am presently focusing on helping women over the age of 30 to increase their chances of conceiving within the next 12 months, especially if you have been struggling to conceive for the last 2 years and you're over the age of 30. And I do this through my 12-week incubator called Fertility Secrets and Womb Wisdom, where I walk women through my signature womb cleanse protocol, my signature 3-phase womb cleanse protocol over the time span of 12 weeks to help you just kind of get organized, cleansed out, aligned, and ready and prepared to receive and have the baby that you've always wanted to have. So today I wanted to talk with you about what the real cost of COVID-19 is making us pay, for those who are dealing with infertility. And so what I have observed is that, especially since COVID hit, we have a lot of the fertility clinics that have canceled appointments. We have had a lot of people who are disappointed because you were in mid-cycle and you're no longer considered a priority, or you were next on the waiting list awaiting, transfer, or you were about to start the process. You had gone through the preliminary steps and were waiting for that appointment so that you can have a conversation with your doctor to find out and to get on that path to having your baby, using fertility treatments. But since COVID hit, right, everything has stopped. And like, what does that mean for you? And I've seen a lot of people start to lose faith because you can't go out, right? So we don't know when fertility treatments will resume again. We don't know if we have to, pay, tens and thousands of dollars again. And it's a waiting game. Right now, it's a waiting game between what are these few degrees of separation between the day that you find out that you can start. So there's now where you are, that level of frustration, of like, I can't continue this journey as it was because life has changed. And, the day you find out that you can begin from your doctor, what does that look like? And then if you do start the process later on, then what happens? You know what I mean? Are you able to pick up? Are you still able to do your egg transfer? Do you have to go through all of the preparation again? Like, what is this going to look like? Because and then in the process, like, what is it looking like for you, right? Like, what's not working for you right now? Because I can tell you that the amount of stress that a lot of us are feeling is incredibly high. This is people in general. So imagine you in your body who was preparing, to begin that process of trying to have a baby, of trying to conceive, of, going for fertility treatments. And now, and you were already stressed. And now we don't know what's happening. So your levels they've magnified and they're out of the window, right? So you've got to wait. It's just a waiting game. And what happens is that the level of stress that you're experiencing is now magnified, like I mentioned before. So, is it too late? This is a big question that I'm hearing now, right? Because oftentimes, not all of the times, but oftentimes when someone has arrived at the decision of taking the route of fertility, going to see fertility clinics, it's usually because they may be considered advanced in age. They may be, experiencing pre-existing conditions that are stopping them from conceiving, or there are just different kinds of complexities or idiosyncrasies that are preventing you from successfully conceiving, carrying a healthy baby to term and giving birth, right? So, are you too advanced in age now? Are you missing the window of opportunity? Are you missing that window of opportunity, because the time is now passing, right? Like, will my follicles, still be okay? Will they be developed, by the time we start again? And we don't know when we're going to be starting again, right? Because remember, you waited X amount of time, and now you've got to just kind of put everything up in the air because you're not the only person who has been waiting, to go through the process, to see the doctors, to do all the tests, right? Not being able to get an appointment with your doctor, right? Because who's only doing phone consultations, or virtual video consultations? And those two are two completely different things. Like, you can get the same information done because it's an audio thing, but seeing your primary caregiver, speaking to your primary care versus speaking to your primary caregiver versus being in the presence of your primary caregiver, right? All of these things are starting to go through your head. When am I going to see them? Will they know what's happening? Are they going to be able to palpate me? So, you're missing your cycle transfers, you're missing, like, what about this financial drain? Nobody's talking about the financial drain that COVID is putting on people who are trying to prepare their bodies to conceive, because you have to drop ends. You've got to be dropping, money to be able to go through these processes, to see the doctor, to buy the medications, to make the appointments, to buy the, all of the, whatever it is that you're going to be using. And so imagine having prepared, some of the clients that I have, some of the prospects, conversations that I have in my next step calls, it's like, we're spending $20,000 a pop, and we're doing it 3, 4, and 5 times. This is a lot of money. This is a lot of money. So imagine you've gathered all your coins, right, to be able to invest in your legacy, and you've arrived at COVID, right? And now you don't know what to do, because in your mind, your only option was to go to your primary caregiver and to go through the process of IVF, IUI, whatever it is that you're going to be doing. And now you don't have that option, right? So what happens next? Right? What happens next? You're left with all of these bills that you have to pay, all of these upcoming bills that you have to pay. You're left with the stress in your body, of having missed out on these very, very crucial, important windows. And then you're left with your thoughts. What's going to happen? What will my future be like? Is this going to work? Like, there's so much that we experience, when we start thinking about the real cost of infertility and IVF during COVID. This is really affecting a lot of people, because what happens too is you're staying home and you're just turning and you're just turning and you're just turning. So you're stressed out for hours on end, right? Like, if you think about it, right? If we think about how much actual drainage, what is the actual drainage of not being able, right, to fulfill the work that you're doing right now, right? What is the cost of that? If we were to count, like, let's look at it. What is your hourly wage, right? Are you on salary, or are you paid hourly, right? Or are you paid by the day? If you're being paid by the hour, right? And we were to break this down, right? How many hours a day are you stressing right now? Because you can't get pregnant. You really want to have a baby. You don't understand why your body's not working. You've just spent all of this money to be able to get access to these doctors and to this, technology, but now you can't go anymore, right? Like, you're not able to socialize with people. You're not able to go out and be around the people and actually get a level of support that you normally would have gotten in the first place. You are now obsessing over, like, every small little thing. What is How many hours are you and your partner, your husband, your relationship? How many hours are you arguing? Are you bickering? Are you feeling like out of sorts? I know some people will be like, I've lost my effing mind. I just can't handle it. I really wanted this. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm stressed. So how many hours a day do you spend going through this process? And let's put a price tag on every hour of sufferation that you've been experiencing, right? So if you're at work and you do a 12-hour shift at work, and let's say you spend a good 3 to 4 hours of that time idling, even though you're at work, you're idling, but you're thinking about your issue. You're thinking about the fact that, I'm not able to go to my appointments. I'm not able to keep on raising my own levels of motivation on this journey. You know what I mean? Like when I go back home, I have to sit in the empty house with my partner, and have the conversations again, about when and why are we going to have a baby and all of these things. So like you've got those 3 hours. Like how much are you getting paid for those 3 hours? Are you getting paid $10 an hour? Are you getting paid $20 an hour? Regardless, that's 4 hours. That's $80 if you're getting paid $20 an hour. This is a very basic minimum, right? What about when you come home? What about the hours that you're home in your house? Sometimes, or maybe you don't even go home. Some people will drive around, or before that, would you go out into the stores, and purchase baby things, look at, baby cribs and clothes and peruse the internet, looking for baby names and really lamenting. How many hours have you spent doing that? How many hours have you spent going over your bank statements, and looking over the receipts? Like this is creating a lot of stress. Right? And every hour that you spend doing this is an hour lost. It's an hour lost because you can't get that time back. Your body remembers that you spent the last X amount of hours lamenting and feeling a particular way. So it's maintaining that vibration. You know, there's a lot of cost. There's a lot of cost that goes into um, you know, missing out on fertility treatments and fertility sessions, because of COVID. And this is just the reality, And so you've waited this long. You've waited. What else are you waiting for? What else are you waiting for? Why are you thinking longer, right? Like, what chance do you have to actively engage in right now and move the needle on your journey towards having the baby that you want, right? Like, what do you do? What can you do differently during this time, right? During this time of being quarantined, of pandemic. Yes, I said pandemic, right? Of being, in your home and in your corner. I see a lot of people eating, overeating, going back into bad pattern. This is the time to be preparing yourself for when you're able to go back into the world and do what you have to do. This is a time that you can either spend draining yourself emotionally and lamenting over your financial losses, right? Based off of the amount of stress that you've gone through to arrive at this point, or you can make sure and spend the time in preparation for when you are able to begin that process with your primary caregivers again, right? Because even though you have the impression of not being able to do anything right now, you actually have the power to do quite a lot. And so with that, I want to just encourage you, if you are on this journey of infertility and you are focusing on having your healthy baby in the next 12 to 18 months, you're looking to conceive in the next 12 to 18 months, I really, really, really want you to consider what those steps look like. What are you doing right now, even in the midst of not being able to do anything? We're looking at these hidden costs, right? So how can we not necessarily circumvent, but how can we counter, the weight and the pressure of these hidden costs, right? Because infertility during COVID is a real thing, and it's a real stress. So I want to invite you to click on the link in my bio or click on the link below and book a next step call. You don't have to go through this process alone. The work that I do includes detoxification, purification. It includes, your map, understanding where you are and how to move into where you want to be. We talk about your feminine flow, stepping in and aligning with your rhythm. And we talk about moving your blood and your energy to be able to nourish your tissues. But this is a very comprehensive program, and I'm really, really proud of this work because I think it's crucial. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle of preparing the body for pregnancy that no one is talking about. No one is talking about preparing the body in this particular way, especially for those who are showing up to the starting line in the red. Especially if you're going into fertility and you know that your body is not in its best shape. So I really want you to consider your state. I want you to consider the real cost of what infertility means for you. And if this resonates, please go ahead and click on the link and book a next step call. And let's have a discussion and see where you are and if Fertility Secrets and Womb Wisdom is a fit for you. And so I'm going to leave you all with that. I love you and I thank you for joining me. And I wish you a wonderful evening, afternoon, day, and morning, wherever you are. Take care and be well.